Peace. Boat of Sun Moon. We on deck like a boat ride. Brother Bridge. 2-week relaxation challenge. You know what I'm saying? Almost done with week 1. The purpose of this relaxation challenge is so that we become more proficient in learning how to quiet our conscious mind. I'm saying, because the very first step of becoming effective magicians or sorcerers is to achieve peace and calm, because peace equals power. I'm saying you can't go into your rituals, you can't go into your temple or your inner temple with mundane thoughts of the mundane world, and it could be quite it could be quite difficult learning how to quiet your conscious mind. So this relaxation challenge is really to benefit you. You know what I'm saying? But the very first step is, if you haven't started yet, I'm saying, don't be hard on yourself, because there's a lot of things that you could be hard on yourself about what you didn't accomplish yet. You know what I'm saying? Every day we have, see, that's the role of society. I mean, to keep you busy and distracted with duties and tasks. I'm saying, oh, I had to do this today, I had to do that, just normal things that aren't even your goals, but goals that have been like kind of just thrown on you, like, okay, get into work on time, making sure you clock in on time, making sure that you clock back in off a break, off a lunch on time, picking up the kids, cooking for the kids, all of these obligations. And then on top of that, then you have goals and things that you may want to do for yourself. So it's real easy to get caught up in beating yourself up because you didn't accomplish or you didn't do what you said you were going to do in the time that you were going to do it. You know what I'm saying? So that actually goes against relaxation. So the very first step would be, yo, take it easy. You know what I'm saying? Forgive yourself. You know what I'm saying? Because the whole world is beating up on you. If you don't nurture yourself, ain't nobody else going to do it. You know what I mean? You remember the statue of Isis holding baby Horus. You know what I'm saying? See, before Horus turned into that ass-kicking warrior or hero, Heru figure, he was a baby suckling Isis's breast. You know what I'm saying? So that Heru figure, that Horus figure is you. That's your new self. You know what I'm saying? When you find your new self, your absolute powerful self, it's just a little baby. You know what I'm saying? You got to nurture yourself until you get enough milk. So now you could start, you know what I'm saying, you start walking, now you eating meat, and now you fucking niggas up. You kicking ass. I mean, so it's all about progress, but you know what I'm saying, baby steps. But ultimately, it's in your best favor to learn how to relax. You know what I'm saying? And I'm a very anxious, high-strung person. You know what I'm saying? If I'm real proactive. You know what I'm saying? So that's what worked for me. I'm hard on myself. I'm real hard on myself. I'm harder on myself, you know what I'm saying, than anybody else could ever be. I mean, so I had to learn how to chill. But definitely, man, y'all definitely want to get on that 2-week relaxation exercise and just take 15 minutes out of the day to Just lay on the floor. I say the floor because it's less comfortable than the bed or the couch. You could do it in your chair at work. You could do it while sitting at your desk. And just breathe. Close your eyes. You could do it with your eyes open, but I like to do it with my eyes closed. I go in the closet. And just breathe, man. See, the sound of my breath in my head when I breathe through my nose and the sound of the breath in my head, it to me, I imagine that it's fire and it's burning all of those unwanted, undesirable thoughts until there's nothing left and there's just blackness and peace and calm, like the causal plane or like the abyss or like the waters of noon. I'm saying, well, actually, the waters of noon, no, because that would be there's actually movement in the waters of noon. So, like on the causal plane, and I'm saying where the black dot resides. That's the whole purpose of this, because the black dot is the ultimate, is the absolute source, and the black dot is absolute peace. There is no sound, there's no movement in the causal or unconscious plane. So, I mean, today we're gonna get into symbolism, the key to power. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna look at these symbols and we're gonna learn how to use them in a practical, easy, everyday way. You know what I'm saying? Magic is real simple. There's no need to overthink it. You know what I'm saying? All you need to do is find peace. All you need to do is find peace, like the black dot, like that black sun inside of you, like the black dot, like the inner sun, the black sun inside of you. You know what I'm saying? Just peace. Once you locate that, you'll be okay, you'll be good to go. You know I'm saying? You'll be manifesting like nothing. All right, so let's go ahead and get into this. Symbolism, the key to power. Oh, you know what I'm saying? Strawberry banana, green smoothie. Delicious. Schweppervescence. We are now going to deal with symbols. The first step must be to ask, what is a symbol? What does it do and how can we use it? Sadly, very few students know the answer to these questions. They do not know the power they do not know the power of the question why. As I have said before, never do anything in magic that you do not understand. Never gamble in the game that you can't play. So let us now follow the ever unfolding path of discovery through the maze of symbolism. What is a symbol? Rather than going to a long-winded discussion, here is an example from everyday life. We are all familiar with the mathematical addition sign, the plus sign, you know. So much so that very few people ever think about its meaning. It means add together or plus for short. This simple cross is a symbol representing a host of thoughts. It's good. This simple cross is a symbol representing a host of thoughts. Can you imagine how complicated mathematics would be without it? Instead of the cross, we would have to write. Add these together to form one number. In addition, by its use, we also imply that the numbers should not be subtracted, divided, or multiplied. Without this symbol, writing down the addition of the numbers 1 through 10 would take up several lines and would take a great deal of time. How about a note of music? A simple black dot with a tail. It is far easier to write and to understand this symbol than to say to another musician, no, not that note, up a bit. Yeah, that's it. Now hold that for about 0.2 of a second. Ridiculous. As these examples demonstrate, symbols represent ideas and convey these ideas quickly. They store information and then convey this information almost instantly. A picture's worth 1,000 words. I'm saying that's why in Egypt they had so many different symbols on the walls, because to each person a symbol could mean so many different things. That's why there is no right or wrong. There is no right or wrong. I'm saying what jumps out to you when you look at a symbol, who's to say that that's wrong? That's what your subconscious mind is communicating to you, the meaning, the signification of how to use this symbol. You would use it differently from someone else. I'm saying even universal symbols. I'm saying because we all got personal symbols. All right. These are just two of the symbols used in everyday life. There are many more, and without them, life would be far more complicated than it is now. And progress would be far slower. Now, what about magical symbols? Well, they work in exactly the same way. First, they store information for quick recall. And more importantly, they are a language of power. Because your power source communicates in this language. It doesn't communicate with words. To take this idea further, numbers are symbols. They represent an idea. Life is full of symbols. Many are taken for granted. Not so in magic. We have to use symbols and understand them. In order to make a symbol work effectively, it must be understood. Your reaction to it should be instantaneous. This is not an impossible feat. When you first started to read, how did you do it? You started by using symbols called letters, the letters of the alphabet. When you look at a word now, you do not look at each word and quietly say to yourself, A is for apple, B is for ball, and so on. All that preliminary work has been done. So through habit, we've learned how to understand these symbols that are letters and learn how to recognize these symbols combined, which are words, through habit. I'm saying habits of highly effective people. All that preliminary work has been done. Your eyes see the letter, recognize the word, and the word, which is yet another symbol, means something. You can do this because of practice. Now you have no difficulty in using these early symbols to communicate. You will notice that you do not think when you use symbols. It is automatic. Something else is doing the thinking for you. And that something is your subconscious mind. It recognizes the symbols, interprets them, and passes on the meanings to your conscious mind instantly. That's why Hollywood is so effective. I'm saying, because they distract your conscious mind. See, when you're watching a movie, Brother Panic said that when you're watching a movie, there's more than one story being told. There's one story being told to your conscious mind. So while your conscious mind is distracted, all right, it moves out of the way and it opens up for the subconscious mind to get, while the security guard is napping or watching soap operas, you know what I'm saying? Fort Knox is being raided. Know what I mean? They going in and they putting in all these other fucked up images, symbols in there, and these things have an effect, whether you know it or not, whether you believe it or not. You know what I'm saying? It recognizes the symbols, interprets them, and passes on the meanings to your conscious mind instantly. So now, once the subconscious mind understands these meanings of these symbols, it passes them up to your conscious mind instantly, and it affects your behavior. This is what happens when you're not paying attention, when you're unaware, when you're unconscious. All right. A magical symbol does exactly the same if you let it. There are two forms of magical symbols, personal and universal. The first needs to be worked on. The latter already have been and contain a wealth of knowledge and power if you work with them. Let us have a look at the personal symbols first. They are available by the hundreds. Books are filled with them. They are copied and sold at exorbitant prices in many different materials. An eager public buys these magical symbols, hoping that some of the power will work for them. By now, you should know exactly what it does not. Pardon me. By now, you should know exactly why it does not. If not, then you should go back over the previous chapters or videos that we did to see why. A personal symbol is personal. It belongs quite rightly to the person who conceived it. It cannot work for others because even if they try, they cannot understand it to the same degree. The universal symbol is another matter. It can be personalized, yet it is universal. The encircled cross is one such symbol, and the pentagram and hexagram are others. In working with any universal symbol, you not only build up your own associations, you can also draw on the wealth of the knowledge of all time. How? I will try to put this in simple terms. We discussed in the previous chapter how everything is composed of the four elements arranged as an encircled cross. No matter what is or has been created, it will fit into the scheme. The symbol. Creation begins with thought, and thought controls the elements. Therefore, it is safe to assume that all the thoughts are contained within the encircled cross. This is not only true for you or me, but also true for everyone who has ever lived. The symbol is valid throughout creation. It embraces all energy patterns and all thinking. When working with this universal symbol, you are contacting everything. The potential of the encircled cross symbol is therefore vast and totally beyond our comprehension. You should always bear in mind that as all geometric shapes are born out of the division of a circle, so all other universal symbols are to be found within the encircled cross. The study of this and other symbols in their own right is a specialized branch of magical thinking, sigilmancy, which, due to its complexity, is far beyond the scope of this book. Just as some people learn only sufficient math to get by, while others choose to study math in its own right, there are many branches of magic which can be studied either in depth or superficially. It is up to you to develop along whichever path you wish and go as far as you wish along that path. Let us now, however, return to practical magic. Symbols and symbolism are very important in magic for the simple reason that your subconscious mind understands and responds to these in a positive way. We have done some initial work with the encircled cross, and we have used this in a symbolic way. By working its pattern into a ritual. Now we will extend the process. The use of symbolism is best illustrated with an example. If you light a candle in the ordinary sense, you strike a match, light it, and then use the candle for its intended purpose. The act is simple and automatic. You need some light, so you light a candle. Now look at this from a different point of view. Light a candle and follow a train of thought. We generate flame from nothing. It brings light to darkness together with a little heat. We can see much better. Creation itself is just like this. First, there is thought, an intention, a need. This is followed by action and finally a result. Where would we be without light and heat? We could not live as we do today. Our planet would be inert, frozen, and dead. Light and heat sustain life. Little wonder we understandably feel safe when there is light. It is reputed that we rose above the animals when we learned how to control fire. It gave us power, and appropriately, the symbol for fire is the magical rod by which we direct power and creative energy, the wand. The wand made of wood from the holly tree. See, In the Druid tradition or the Celtic tradition, wands were made from wood, from the holly tree. Thus, you have the phrase Hollywood. You cannot be a film director if you are not well versed in mythology and psychology. In other words, you have to be a magi. You have to be a magi to be a director in Hollywood, because what we see on the screen is the director's vision. It is the director's creation. It is his vision. I'm saying all directors are magi. They're occultists in Hollywood. All right. Now, exercises in thought like this are not only interesting, but useful, as they help us use our imagination. You could contemplate this one idea for a long time, and many fascinating avenues would open up. What triggered this off? The candle, or rather the symbolism within the flame. A chain of natural thoughts such as these can be put together in a symbolic way to make a useful ritual. All you have to do is remember the key points in the chain. Let us take the previous example and use it ritually. We stand in the darkness with no light. Our thoughts range over the ideas of no life, non-creation, stillness, and inertia. So we're talking about the causal plane. We're talking about the black dot. We're talking about the one, the source. You know what I'm saying? No life, non-creation, stillness, inertia, no noise, no sound, nothing. At the right time, we think in a positive way, create. All right? So the black dot had a thought. It had a thought. That was creation. So when you light the candle, that's what that recognizes. And we light our candle, recognizing that a magical act has been done. The black dot contemplated itself. Boom. It needed another of itself to observe itself. So that's where it started. Damn, I'm me, but how do I even know I exist? I need something to observe me so that I know that I exist. Because if you were the only person on the planet, how would you know that you were existing? You know what I'm saying? So the black dot doubled itself so it could observe itself, and that was the start. And it started multiplying from there. You know what I'm saying? It doubled itself. So the positive polarity doubled itself, a negative polarity mingled, positive and negative mingled, and there went creation. Also the same story of the dark father, dark mother, dark energy, dark matter. That whole situation. Dark energy and dark matter combining make physical matter, which is only about 4 or 5% of the universe. All right. We have light and power, just like the sun itself, and we can control and direct it around our encircled cross in whatever pattern we choose. Light has overcome darkness, and creative power is about to be used. So also the cross of the 4 elements is also similar to the Kabbalistic tree of life, because the many different paths on the Kabbalistic tree of life, you can have so many different combinations of all of the Sephiroth, so many different combinations. The same way you can have so many different combinations of the element just from this just from the cross of the 4 elements. I'm saying there really is no limit. I mean, the biggest illusion is limitation. Like there's no limit to anything. Like even when you find a limit, like if you look deeper into it, you will see that there's still more variations that you could come up with. You know what I'm saying it's all in your head. And I'm saying it's like, how far can you see? I mean, like how many different ways can you look at something? All right, let's go. Light has overcome darkness and creative power is about to be used. A simple act of lighting a candle has been turned into a very effective ritual due to the fact that we have thought about and used symbolism. Now look at the contrast between just lighting a candle and lighting it in a symbolic way. There is a world of difference, and it is just this difference which marks the line between success and complete failure. Any amount of thinking along any amount of thinking along symbolic lines is bound to improve your rituals. It also gets a reaction from your subconscious mind. You do not have to sweat and strain at this or spend years doing meaningful meditations. Apply moderation and common sense, but sense isn't common. You know what I'm saying? Apply moderation and use your instinct. You know what I'm saying? Make it yours. Work on symbolic contemplation by degrees. So little by little. I mean, work on symbolic contemplation by degrees with a view to improving matters. So it's like we said, it's like lifting weights. So it's like working out. At first, you might be able to do 5 push-ups. I'm saying you keep at it. A week later, you're able to do 10. A month later, you're able to do 50. I'm saying, but the habit, the repetition. See, it all starts with the relaxation exercise. Then from there, the inner temple exercise, and so forth and so on. All what we've been going over this entire week. I'm saying, little by little, 2 weeks with the relaxation exercise, 2 weeks with the inner temple exercise, 2 weeks with the exercise that follows after that, and you can't lose. The very first sacrifice, I'm saying, you don't have to fucking cut off a chicken's head. Very first sacrifice is time. Your time. Your time, because you care. Anything that you care about, you give attention to. All right. A lot of strained. Okay, hold on. A little thought goes a long way in magic. Fax machine. A lot of strained, perfectionist thinking in protracted bursts is not a good idea. Follow the gentle path of gradual attainment. This is yet another reason as to why I asked you to put away all equipment and set aside all previous ideas at the beginning of this book. Not only do you need to think about whether you need these or not, you also need to think about these things. Everything that you do, say, or use should have symbolic content in order to make it useful. Everything that you do, say, or use should have symbolic content in order to make it useful. You know what I'm saying? A lot of us, we already do these things. You know what I'm saying? A lot of us, we already do these things. You know, when we have these, when we have our, like the homie Shannon Jeffries, he has these action figures that he uses. I'm saying, but symbolically, I'm saying, then he takes pictures and uploads them to Facebook. I'm saying, of I don't know, it might be Thanos ripping off Captain America's head. I'm saying, what does Captain America stand for? What does Thanos stand for? So when you look at this symbolism, I'm saying, you're actually deprogramming yourself from the Hollywood mind control bullshit. I'm saying, that you could, man, listen, man, we have all the power. We have all the power. We run this bitch. We run this bitch. Them people that are like Wile E. Coyote, they just running around this bitch. They running around here. I'm saying, they got us believing it's just like the Wizard of Oz. Exactly like the Wizard of Oz. Pay no attention to the man behind that curtain. And I'm saying, little wimpy guy. Little wimp. Everything that you do or say or use should have symbolic content in order to make it useful. Let us now have another look at our basic encircled, cross, and pentagram ritual and see if we can improve things by building up useful symbolism. And he about to turn up now. Here are some suggestions. First, spend some time each day building up symbolic ideas around the center and cardinal points of the magic circle. Along the lines I have already suggested, keep notes, put these under separate headings for easy reference. Use your notebook or magical diary. Again, there is no need for copious notes. Simple headings will do as long as these stimulate your memory when you read them. Using the example of the central candle, you could write down darkness and inertia create power like the sun. So darkness and stillness, potential movement, create power like the sun. Yo, I forgot whose lecture I was watching. They said, and this makes all the sense when you understand particles, because we said that particles are black holes and quasars, or black holes and suns. So someone said, in this universe, when we look at the sun, oh yeah, it's this guy Stuart Swerdlow. Don't judge me. I'm saying, I don't pay attention to the messenger. I just pay attention to the message. I like watching these people, these white, I like watching white occultists because they understand all that we understand. They understand, you know, what Brother Bobby, what Brother Panic, what Brother Dr. Phil, what Brother Dr. Delbert Blair, they understand all of that. But they like to use code words like ancient means black. Amenta, Negrito, they have a lot of code words, but when you pay attention, you could really know what they're referring to and who they're referring to when you are able to recognize these code words. They're talking about us, but they don't want us to know that they're talking about us. So I was watching the Stuart Swerdlow video, and he was mentioning how the sun in this universe, it's a sun or a quasar. But in a parallel universe, it's a black hole. And this is how intra-dimensional travel is achieved. Now, when you and I know that the sun that we see in the sky is a symbolic representation in the sky to remind us of the sun that is inside of ourselves, because everything that we see up there is taking place inside of us. It's there to remind us, of our greatness. So when we understand that, then we understand that these interdimensional beings or energies that are traveling through space, from different dimensions, galaxies, and universes, they're accessing this plane through us, through our advanced ways of thinking and actions. That's why Brother Bobby always says, yo, forget logic, because that shit is not us. Logic is this plane. It's from this. And I'm saying intellectualism and logic and common sense and shit that makes sense, that's of here. This plane is so fucking low. And I'm saying so dense, so slow, so low that there's no way in the hell you could comprehend higher levels or higher planes of existence. You wouldn't even be able to understand. You wouldn't even be able to understand the actions and the ways of thinking that take place on these other planes, these higher planes of existence. You don't even understand what you're looking at when people had visions of aliens and shit. And I'm saying they look like insects. They look like all these other weird things because you can't understand. I mean, so the best way for you to understand it is to, like, it's going to appear to you like you're looking at an insect or something scary. I'm saying, because you can't comprehend it. So it's going to show up to you. It's going to look ugly. It's going to look ugly here. It's going to look weird and disgusting. It's going to look, and the actions and ways of higher beings or advanced ways of thought are so, like, misunderstood here. Hold on, pardon me, y'all. All right, back on track. Yeah. Also, Brother Bobby said that when you look at excrement, dung, feces, it's used to fertilize crops and fields, meaning that things grow. It helps things grow. All right. Then he went on to explain how this existence, being the lowest, densest existence, is third dimensional reality, how this existence is the excrement. We are the droppings. We fell. You know, we always hear this term, we fell, we are the fallen, because we are the droppings. We are the fertilizer. You know what I'm saying? We are the catalyst to cause growth. To cause growth out of this month. Let me chill with the curses. We are the droppings. You know what I'm saying? We fell into this muck, into this shit. But this is actually the fertilizer that will cause growth. All right. Using the example of the central candle, you could write down darkness and inertia create power like the sun. Control and direct around the encircled cross using the rod. Control and direct around this encircled cross using the rod, and so on. Add more as you discover lines of thought. So he just gave you different ideas on how to give symbolism to each quarter of the encircled cross. Add more as you discover lines of thought. Gradually, these chains of thought can be worked into this and other rituals. It is important to remember that these are your ideas, which you are discovering. That's what makes them powerful. because they're your ideas, which you are discovering that are being given to you. They're being given to you by your higher self. Do practice this. It does not take up too much time, but it will make a world of difference, as you will see. Bringing these symbolic ideas together into rituals will be discussed later on, when you will learn the art of constructing rites that work, because they are yours and are symbolically correct. Having now looked at the central candle, let us move on to the more important cardinal points. Starting with the point overhead. This belongs to the All-Father. Now follow through the idea in a symbolic way to see where it leads. Father, All-Father, male potency, descending power, positive and outgoing. So dark energy is a positive force. It penetrates. It's radiating like the sun. Okay. Think about a father, a power, beneficent figure pouring out energy from on high. Do this yourself and build up associations, just as the upper point is positive male. So the lower point is negative female. By negative, I mean receptive. This point belongs to the earth mother or the great mother, the dark mother. So as we said, the dark mother principle is negative, like the vagina, it receives. So the dark father or dark energy being positive, it radiates. Okay. So it actually is ever expanding space. It's dark light. It's light that has so many colors, that's so brilliant that we can only perceive it as black. So this light enters dark matter, and dark matter holds it together, holds the galaxies, the atoms, the protons, electrons, holds everything together like a household. The intermarriage of these two principles was dark light. Let's say dark light is 75% of the universe. The dark mother is 20% of the universe, and physical reality would be 5% of the universe. You know what I'm saying? Those numbers aren't totally correct, but you know what I'm saying, it's like 3/4, 1/4, and like a real small portion of what we can see and touch is only about 4 or 5% of the universe. The rest we can't even see or touch, and that's the majority of this universe. So that's what they're talking about here. Crazy thing is, outer space, when you look at the ever expanding concept of dark light, dark matter, and the whole concept of outer space, what it's really talking about is in your brain. Your brain has 3 folds, 3.5. In between each fold of your brain, there is neuromelanin that is moving, a black fluid that is moving on the 3 different planes. That's why we're in the 3rd dimension. Every time you see this symbolic 3, that's what it represents. You know what I'm saying? Sun, moon, and stars and all that, that it represents the 3 layers of neuromelanin in your brain. And this fluid moves and is ever expanding. You know what I'm saying? And it does things. So when you look at outer space and the way outer space behaves, you're looking at what's happening in your skull. You know what I'm saying? That's why these astrologers, they look to the skies and they know what's going on with you, with us. And then they come out with these distractions and these false flag operations at certain times of the year, every year, like clockwork. You know what I'm saying? All of these great all of these great eclipses and all these things, these are internal actions taking place within yourself. And I'm saying as we go in, we'll be able to identify in future videos, we'll be able to identify what's going on with these celestial movements. We'll be able to correlate the celestial movements and our internal happenings. All right. This point belongs to the Earth Mother or the Great Mother, who gives birth to all living things and is responsible for nature itself. She can be found wherever a tree or a blade of grass grows. So the mothering principle, the mother principle is a caring principle. It's a loving principle. Because out of the yoni comes life. So the yoni is the great generator. It's the generative principle. It gives. You know what I'm saying? It gives, and what it gives, there is care involved. That's why we talked about when you cut open an apple, we see the seeds have been carefully placed. When you look at nature in a pine cone, we see the Fibonacci spiral, and it's carefully. I mean, everything in nature is carefully done. Nothing here is just like slapped together, like this Big Bang theory, this theory of evolution, all this other bullshit they handing us. No, there's care involved. It goes so deep that green is the color of the heart chakra. You know what I'm saying? The color of the heart chakra, the care chakra, and everything in nature is green. Everything in nature is green. Letting you know, it's telling you something. That in itself is intelligence. That wasn't a coincidence. She can be found wherever a tree or a blade of grass grows. She responds to the cosmic tides, creating color, scent, and beauty. This is Mother Nature herself, and we stand firmly in her domain, supported and sustained. Work these and other ideas into your encircled cross and pentagram ritual. When you see the light inside yourself, imagine the enormous power of cosmic energy pouring out of you, unfettered and unrestricted. Everything good, y'all? Everything good? Y'all hear me? Y'all see me good out there? Any issues? You know what I'm saying? Go ahead and hit that comment box. Let me know what's going on. You got any questions or anything? You know what I'm saying? Put it in the comment box. Let me know if there's any problems with the sound, with the visuals. You know what I'm saying? I ain't trying to screw this up. Imagine the enormous power of cosmic energy pouring out of you, unfettered and unrestricted, being given freely and abundantly by the powerful Sky Father. Personalize this by imagining this figure. Try to get the feel of this energy. A little practice will soon show positive results. You know, and don't be imagining no old white man with a big beard and shit. Get creative, man. Use your imagination. You know what I'm saying? This is when we see we're actually starting to address and transcend these facts. You know what I'm saying? Transcend these facts that have been pushed on us since fuck, man, before we were even born. Because these thoughts, we were actually created, you know what I'm saying, because our mothers believed these things. So these things were actually had a part to do with our conception. So it's going to take practice. It's going to take habit. You know what I'm saying? It's going to take habit to transcend these facts. But it's simple, man. Little by little. Relax. Do the same with the lower point. Feel the earth responding willingly to every thought and every intention. Try to imagine the earth mother giving in a receptive way, just like a real mother would. By personalizing these points, we are establishing more contact than is possible with pure abstractions and related ideas. By personalizing these points, we are establishing more contact than is possible with pure abstractions and related ideas. This is an important part of magical work, which so often goes wrong for the simple reason that students unthinkingly start to believe in the images as though they are real people. This is not so. The art of personifying images is called telesmatics. 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 Download the PDF if you don't have it already. And I'm saying to read this, you're going to need this PDF, man. You're going to need this if you really about this work, man. This shit works, man. It worked for me. And I'm a knucklehead. And a telesmatic is a symbol. A telesmatic is a symbol, okay? So the art of personifying images is called telesmatic, and a telesmatic is a symbol. Whereas the encircle, cross, pentagram, hexagram, and so on are abstract, a telesmatic takes human or humanoid form. It sounds very, very similar to talisman or talismanic. Just similar. A talisman is supposed to attract, and an amulet repels. You know what I'm saying? If you want to subscribe to that, I'm saying amulets and talismans to me, same shit. You know what I'm saying? You could program it to do whatever the hell you want, whether you're gonna program it to repel or attract, because ultimately that's all that you do here, either repel or attract. And whatever you want to name it, you could call it a talisman or an amulet. It's up to you. It's gonna do what you tell it to do. They are extremely useful. So telesmatics are extremely useful due to the fact that they give personal contact with energies in a more fundamental way. So when we talking about the 72 angels, we talking about the 72 Goetias. See, now we talk about the 72 Goetias. You know what I mean? And sigil magic. I mean, you giving these sigils forms and personalities. You know what I'm saying? That's telesmatics. And it says that they are extremely useful. And it is. You can talk to a telesmatic, and if you practice with these symbols, they will talk back in their own way. You know what I'm saying? So many different ways. Through crystal balls, trying to contacting the 72 angels, contacting the 72 Goetias. You use a black mirror or a scrying mirror. I'm saying, to contact them. Really, well, that's to get visions from them. But contacting them, you know what I'm saying, working with them sigils, you'll be able to contact them if you really like pay attention, if you quiet yourself and don't doubt what it is that you're receiving, the information that you're receiving. Remember, all of this is subtle. It's not in your face. It's subtle. Subtle energies. You know what I'm saying? Magic is subtle. So it might be something that you might brush off. You know what I'm saying? But don't do that. The more you understand and the more you know, the more you recognize these subtleties, the more plain everything gets, the more plain it gets. You know what I'm saying? The more larger, the more larger than life, the more like bells and whistles, the more you would see like it wouldn't be so subtle anymore. You know what I'm saying? Just like the way I'm able to see somebody's whole character just from the small things that they do. You know what I'm saying? Subtle shit, but it speaks volumes to me. It lets me know what you're thinking, how you're thinking. You know what I'm saying? What type of person you just from, and I don't pay attention. I don't watch people. It's just, I'll just notice something like, You know what I'm saying? And now it's like, okay, especially if it's something that I would not do. It's like a blaring, bells and whistles, like, yo, this ain't my type of person. You know what I'm saying? They don't move like me. And on the flip side, when they do move like you, it'll stand out. You know what I'm saying? Things wouldn't be so subtle. Also, I would recommend y'all get a book called On Body Language for Dummies. Shit'll make your magic so much more effective. Like, yo, you be able to read, man. You be able to read people, man. Body Language for Dummies. Y'all niggas get that. You can talk to a talismanic, and if you practice with these symbols, they will talk back in their own way. After all, it is far easier to talk to a human-like creature than it is to a five-pointed star. Always remember that these are images and representations of specific energies. They are symbols, and in keeping with the idea of symbols, some are truly personal. Others are, again, universal. All Father and Earth Mother are examples of universal symbols. And like their abstract counterparts, they can be worked with and contain a wealth of knowledge. The mistake is constantly made of accepting that these images are external to ourselves and that they exist as separate entities in their own right. This is nonsense. See, they're telling you that all of these symbols, dark mother, dark father, taking place inside of you. This is nonsense. Yet the belief perpetuates together with the all too familiar lack of thinking and the failure to ask why. Because of misdirected belief, contemporary magic suffers from a restricting stranglehold that binds its devotees to the pillars of ignorance. Never credit a talismanic image with the one thing it cannot have: a life of its own. To do this is to follow the path of self-restriction and eventually subservience. See, if you do that, you're going to create your own thought form that is going to be feeding off of you. You done created another master. I could quote pages of silly statements by supposedly enlightened individuals like, nothing is too good for the gods. Earth spirits, hear my plea. If thou wouldst grant my wish, Almighty One. And even I am unfit to raise my eyes to thee, great Pan. Yo! Okay. Can you see the tremendous mistake being made? It is called subservience and self-degradation. there is a presumption, and it is a presumption of the worst kind, that the images are greater than the one who imagines them. There is a presumption, and it is a presumption of the worst kind, that the images are greater than the one who imagines them. Attitudes like this are self-defeating. Oh, soon. Oh, soon. Oh, Yamaya. Oh, Legba. I raise my hands to thee. You do not ask of an image, you direct it. It is subservient to you. Hey, my nigga, get this shit done. Get this shit done now. All right? Get this shit done now before I call Sebek to eat your ass and bring you down here with me, motherfucker. Get it done. You know what I'm talking about. I'm saying make them work. Make them work. I'm saying you don't work for them. You don't work for them. They work for you. You know what I'm saying? You give these offerings as the offerings is a ritual that subconsciously you're accessing, you're giving this energy or this image a validation subconsciously. It is the access to this energy subconsciously when you give an offering to these deities and a ritual and so forth and so on. You know what I'm saying? You're giving praise to an aspect of yourself. You're unlocking an aspect of yourself when you're giving offerings to Legba or to whoever it is. You know what I'm saying? Zarabanda leaving offerings on the railroad tracks and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? You do not ask of an image, you direct it. It is subservient to you. You are the one with power. You create. You are the demiurge. You are Lucifer. You know what I'm saying? Came to destroy the demiurge, which is the whole materialistic, I love the material plane, I love this shit. Money, hoes, and clothes, that's all a nigga knows. That's all I need. Ain't nothing more. Know what I mean? Ain't nothing more. Nah. You know what I'm saying? The whole principle of Lucifer or Rudra coming down to slay Brahma or Lucifer or Jesus and Satan doing battle is, yo, dog, yeah, you could create. Yeah, we all sitting on our cosmic throne and we're creating our world and all that we desire, and we love it. It's fun, it's great. But dog, this is the third dimension. Like, this is the droppings. This is the drop. You're the droppings. I mean, you're fertilizer, my nigga. Like, grow up out of this shit. You know what I'm saying? Grow up out of here like the tree of life. Get the fuck up out of here. There's more. You think a Maybach and a Benz and all this shit is everything? Man, fuck that shit. My nigga, fuck this shit. Fuck a laptop. There's more. You know what I'm saying? So that's what that whole concept of, you know what I'm saying, the demiurge is bad or the demiurge is, I mean, it's you know what I mean, the whole satanic principle, the whole, you know what I mean, materialism, the realm of being the king or being the ruler in the material plane. You know what I'm saying? Demiurge, Satan, Brahma. All images are there for one purpose: to aid the creative potential within you. Pardon me, lost my place. Uh, hell was I? To aid the creative potential within you. Let me ask you this. Who makes the most serious mistake? The spiritualists with their personal spirit guides, or the adepts who bend their knees before an imaginary entity? How are you an adept? How are you an adept if you're doing that? I guess it's possible, but another difficulty with talismatics is that they become too personal, too much like the human beings who invented them. And so they take on human characteristics of the worst kind. Not only do people become subservient, they also believe in retribution and all sorts of spiteful and nasty actions, which become embodied in the now outer control image. As you believe, so you are on all levels. Belief actuates by degrees. As you believe, so you are on all levels, in all planes of existence, in all realms of consciousness, in all dimensions, which is all the channels that you could tune into. Some of us got 20 different 20 different ways of looking at things. Some of us have 5. Some of us have not unlimited ways of viewing situations. So some of us don't see the need to argue because it's like, I see it this way, I perceive it this way, and this is my truth because this truth has gotten me results that I find desirable. Here comes somebody else that views it somebody. No, you're wrong. How the fuck am I wrong? Shit works. It works for me. How I view this. You know what I'm saying? They want to argue. They want to debate. They want to control. They want to prove. They want to convince. We're not here for none of that shit. You know what I'm saying? So as you believe, so you are on all levels. How many levels? How many levels are you tapped into? You know what I'm saying? Belief actuates by degrees. Belief actuates by degrees. Yo, that's so fucking heavy. Put enough effort into this sort of thinking, and you are likely to get compatible results. The imagination is a powerful tool. No matter which way you use it, apply it to unfounded, chaotic concepts like this, and you can hardly be surprised if you suffer accordingly. Yo, I told my girl to fucking make sure that she get leg by coffee every morning and light her cigar. Yo, I went on a business trip. This bitch ain't do it. You know what I'm saying? Now look at me, man. Now look at me. I'm like, yo. I'm like, oh shit. I'm like, hey, bro, it's crazy. What you gonna do? How you gonna fix it? How you gonna fix it? Oh man. All right. Perfection is the vital key word in all magical work. Build up a magic circle that is perfect, and everything that is contained within is perfect. Meaning, when you doing your magic, ain't shit infallible. Hey, there's a scene in Doctor Strange, right? Where one of Thanos' lieutenants tried to take the time stone from off his neck, tried to rip it off his neck. Yo, motherfucker touched it and like he burned. He couldn't do it. Yo, the nigga Doctor Strange said, yeah, it's a simple protective ritual, but it's effective. This all-powerful being that done destroyed and conquered worlds and universes and galaxies couldn't take this shit off this nigga neck because he put a simple spell, a simple protection spell on his amulet. You know what I'm saying? Telling you, man, they let you know every day. That shit is infotainment. You know what I'm saying? Dr. Phil Valentine told us all about that. Predictive programming. You know what I'm saying? See, we go to the movies for entertainment. The masses go to the movies for entertainment. There are certain groups of people who go to the movies for infotainment. You know what I'm saying? See, for them to understand what we're talking about right now, they take their children to movies and introduce them to these concepts. That was the whole reason why comic books were created. Comic books, on a side note, are the real popular science and real science and medical journals of today. Comic books. Because in comic books is where they give you the up-to-date technology and up-to-date concepts on psychology or all of the science in comic books is true to life, but it's hidden because it's infotainment. And I'm saying when you go and watch movies like these cartoon movies that come out on the big screen, or these especially silly movies like the one with The Rock, with it used to be a video game in the 90s, Rampage, silly ass movie. A lot of occult concepts and science. You know what I'm saying? Josie and the Pussycats. A lot of occult concepts and science that are put into these because this is infotainment. Predictive programming works like, okay, you introduce these images and concepts to the minds of the people. Those who are uninformed, what it does is when something is about to happen, or when they bring this unbelievable thing into real life, like I don't know, you never believed in a wristwatch, but it made it so much more acceptable to the human psyche, and people were able to accept it more quickly because they grew up watching Dick Tracy with his wristwatch telephone and all this other shit. You know what I'm saying? It would have been kind of harder for people to even accept this as a reality if they weren't primed for it in the beginning. On the other hand, when it works, the way it works with well, they do this with magic, like with the unknowing masses, but then like they also do it to train the children of these, you know, it's also an indoctrination process for the children of these Masons and people in these circles, because it introduces the concepts of, it introduces an occult concept or an open-minded way of thinking from a young age. Unlike I don't really want to say in the hood. Like in the hood, a lot of things are considered to be nerdy. You know what I'm saying? A lot of things are considered to be white. You talk white, or why you reading them fucking white boy comic books, you know, shit like that. And then when you look at the hood, a lot of us are stuck in the past. A lot of us are stuck in these cycles, in these frequencies, and these Ouroboruses, and these time loops. where we're not open to new ideas and the world is just fucking passing us by. Anyway, part of my rant. Why do people insist on filling it with these despicable monstrosities dredged up from a less perfect past? The answer is acceptance of previous ideas without applying common sense and wisdom. You are aiming for perfection. Always remember this. Unless the images that you build are perfect and conducive to your ideas or hopes, then either reject them or alter them to suit. Oh, yeah. So that whole rant was to say this. When you're doing your magic, I'm saying it's perfect. Everything that you do is perfect. If you create a barrier, it's perfect. Nothing can break through it. If you have a protective circle, it's perfect. Nothing can get through it. And it will be. As I just explained with the whole Doctor Strange shit. Do this with everything, not only with images, but with ideas as well. It is valid practice to use talismatics for reasons previously given. Do think about these images as they are quite useful. Images like the All-Father and the Earth Mother. But in reality, there is only you and energy. That energy is controlled and directed through the imagination by the use of symbols. Because energy moves in patterns. Energy moves in patterns. Have you ever seen wrought iron fences? Especially like in New Orleans, wrought iron fences are around the houses, like the mansions and shit. And these wrought iron fences, you know, like wrought iron, these things right here. See, energy moves in patterns. So when you see homes and shit surrounded by wrought iron fences, that was a way that witches or occultists would attract certain energies to their properties using these wrought iron fences because energies move in patterns. I'm saying? In Anne Rice's book, she talked about this. I read all of the Mayfair Witches. I read all of the fucking Vampire Diaries. And that lady's a real occultist. In her books, in the Mayfair Witches, she talked about how they were able to call their ancestors back to their mansion in New Orleans because of the wrought iron fences that they had, the patterns in the wrought iron fences that they had surrounding their mansion, and the patterns that they would have in the tapestries and the woodworking around the home. It was their ancestors in the spirit realm were able to find their home, and they could inhabit, they could come to their mansion because of these patterns. So, energy moves in patterns, and, art imitates life. Art imitates life. So we're reading about these occult principles in novels and shit, but where did they get these ideas from? She didn't make it up. Let us now move on to the 4 cardinal points of east, south, west, and north. At east, we meet the element of air. The more obvious images have already been given in chapter 5, but we will now take this a little bit further. The symbol for the element of air is the magical sword. Look at this a little deeper, just like the central candle. The sword can attack or defend. It has 2 edges and can cut both ways. I'm saying the sword is also symbolic of your wit, of your mental aptitude. It represents life and death in some situations. And like Excalibur, it makes kings. Your mental wit makes kings. You can cut or probe or keep at bay with this weapon. It is a weapon of speed and requires a quick mind. The sword is linked to the mind. It is the symbol of conscious thought. All four weapons imply control, and by taking hold of them, you are exercising your right to control. You can do this entirely in your image, in your imagination. In fact, this is far more important than actually owning a so-called magical sword. The physical representation is of no value without the inner contact. That inner contact is made by thinking about the sword or any other weapon along symbolic lines. A very good idea is to use substitutes such as tarot cards. The four aces make a very good substitute and are ideal for contemplation. They may be placed on the appropriate quarter using whatever ritual comes to mind. The Rider Waite cards are recommended as the images are clear and concise. So it is recommended the Rider Waite tarot deck. From the sword, let us now move to south in the spear or rod of power. To use the magical spear requires a different approach to using the sword. It is a weapon that gives more control as it can keep an attacker at an easier, greater distance, especially when thrown with accuracy. The transmuted symbol is the rod or wand, a symbol of authority. All important people carry some sort of rod, from a simple baton to an elaborate mace. The rod implies creative power and the ability to direct this. All creative thinking belongs to the rod and to fire. Moving to the west, we find the magical cup in its earliest symbol, the horn. In reality, the cup is not a weapon at all. The cup contains. The sword and rod are positive and direct. The cup and shield are receptive. Cups can be filled with whatever you wish. Traditionally, swords have to be won in battle. Spears are earned. Shields are made. But the cup is given in love. Remember, the cup is the great mother, is the earth mother. For it is the symbol of love. Cups are to be found everywhere, especially in nature. A bird's nest receives and contains eggs. A pool contains the water, which this symbol represents. The eternal waters of life are contained in the cup, which you drink from whenever you have need. Finally, we move to the north in the magical shield. Your magical shield is defensive as a weapon, but it also has other uses. In ancient times, the design on your shield informed everyone of who you really were, a sort of coat of arms, if you like. Designing your own shield is of great value to you. You may have already seen your design during your inner temple journeys. If not, have a blank shield or simply an encircled cross. The ideas will come if you follow the lines of thinking that I am suggesting. Shields represent earth. So the shield is another feminine person. As you notice, the first two quarters are male and the second two are feminine. Earth is the element that you shape to your needs and it responds. Before building a house, you will need a plan, which you would either draw yourself or get someone else to do for you. You need to plan how to design your shield. A shield represents an idea of an earthly plan of action. You will find shields everywhere. Circuit diagrams, a page of a book, and even a stained glass window are all shields. The shield shows the plan of action. usually in some symbolic form. So an ideal shield should be your own symbolic plan of action or belief pattern. These and other ideas should be thought about regularly, especially at the beginning. The more you do it, the better will be your understanding of magic, and the better the results. You can do this whenever you have a few spare minutes, or you can use the encircled cross and pentagram ritual as a fitting base for contemplation. Open the temple in the usual way, then spend some time thinking about each of the cardinal points before closing down and writing down any useful ideas. Making use of ritual not only does it help you to obtain physical results, it also helps you understand the workings of the cosmic energies. Before leaving the subject of symbols, perhaps I ought to mention the two most popular ones: the pentagram, which is the 5-pointed star, and the hexagram. Like the encircled cross, you can work with these symbols and they will reveal much. The pentagram represents the woman, and the hexagram represents the man. You can attach ideas to each of the points. The planets fit particularly well to the hexagram. This is why I like using it on the door of the inner temple. These two symbols are derived from the encircled cross, and they are best considered as fine-tuning devices. Unless you wish to study symbols and the intricacies of energy patterns as a subject in their own right, they are best left alone. The golden rule of magic is always: do not do or say anything that you do not understand. So often pentagrams are forced into every sort of rite imaginable. Arms are waved in the air, strange sounds are made, and the endless debate about the inverted pentagram goes on and on. Okay, so yeah, they talked about the endless debate of the inverted pentagram goes on and on. See, the inverted pentagram, or the upside down pentagram, is when we are actually invoking, when we're pulling down, we're invoking energies. You know what I'm saying? When we're pulling down energies to create. You know what I'm saying? And when you're giving energies, you would have it on the right side up. The few who really understand this symbol do not waste time and energy on this sort of stupidity. If you ask most people what this symbol means, most of them will not be able to tell you. They have not even thought about it. It is little wonder their rituals are hardly better than amateur theatrics. The more enlightened ones will tell you that it represents perfected man, or even spirit ruling matter. Pressed further, they will again flounder. The pentagram, like its mother symbol, the encircled cross, represents whatever you make of it. You can stick a few things onto its point, like decorations on a Christmas tree. See, that's crazy, because even in gangs, right? I know y'all probably heard about, you know what I'm saying, a lot of motherfuckers talking about, yo, we ride the 5, yo, I ride the 5, and then you heard of other people talking about, yo, we ride the 6. You know what I'm saying? They took, you know what I'm saying, all right, so you ride the 5, I mean, that's the 5-point star, the pentagram, that's the People's Nation and the East Coast Bloods. So that 5-pointed star would stand for love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. That's each point of the star. And when you look at the folk nation, you know what I'm saying, and certain Crip sets represent, they say they ride the 6-point star. That would stand for love, life, loyalty, knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. So you see how these organizations have applied their own meaning to each of these universal symbols, these stars, these luminaries. And you could call the results, you could call them good, bad, whatever. But one thing we could say is their effects are felt. I'm saying? And yeah, we could say that they were created in Pepperdine University and all this in their psyops and shit. But they carry this symbolism and they are very substantial, like they're very solid and concrete. They're here, they ain't going nowhere. Shit ain't going nowhere. They ain't here. No matter who likes it and who doesn't. You know what I'm saying? So you see how that's magic. They made that work for themselves. Whoever came up with it. All right. You can stick a few things onto its points like decorations on a Christmas tree, permutate these about and call it magic, or you can use it properly. It is a design of energy flow. And like the flat diagram of an encircled cross, which you now know turns into a magical circle, the pentagram has a three-dimensional geometric shape as well. Pentagrams are often used in banishing or in everyday language, chasing away demons and astral entities. As a student of this book, you will by now have understood that these things do not exist. So there is no need to banish anything. All you do when the banishing star, that's when you're closing down your ritual. That's what you're banishing. You're banishing your protective circle. You're banishing your inner temple. You're putting it away. That's to let your subconscious mind know, all right, look, we did the work. You know what I'm saying? So when you invoke, it's letting your subconscious know, hey, buddy, wake up. We got shit to do. We about to put in some work. You know what I'm saying? And he ain't got shit else better to do. So he with it. He with the shits. And then when you banishing your protective circle or your inner temple, the banishing ritual is to let the subconscious mind know, hey, good work, buddy. See you next time. I'll holla. And it's done. Whatever it is that you did, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. Astral terrorists have been around far longer than your pentagram. So your pentagram is going to be laughed at. That is, if you believe in such things. Regrettably, pentagram waivers obviously do. You know what I'm saying? Pentagram waivers. Hey, I got my pentagram. Back up, back, I say. Back, damn it. Pentagram waivers obviously do believe this. You do not erect your magic circle or pentagrams to protect yourself from astral entities. You do it to form a symbolic pattern of perfection, which you then use to aid creative activity. You create the magic circle that's impenetrable, all right, to form a symbolic pattern of perfection, which you then use to aid creative activity. So you're fucking exercising your creative power of perfection. I did create something that is perfect. So from here on out, I will create all that is perfect. Also, this protective circle is your refuge where, like, you'll be able to invoke this protective circle while you're sitting on a bus next to an annoying ass motherfucker. what I'm saying? This is your inner force field. You know what I'm saying? Where you have your peace of mind. Whatever it is that's going on outside of this will not have any effect on you mentally, which will trickle down to physically. Much the same can be said about purifying and consecration. If your temple happens to smell of yo, this guy's a comedian. Much of the same can be said about purification and consecration. If your temple happens to smell of drains or boiled cabbage, then get out the air freshener or at least open the window. Yo, boiled cabbage is some fucked up shit. That's some fucked up shit to smell like, man. Oh, shit. Purifying the place of work. I mean, but that might smell good to some people. You know what I'm saying? that might make somebody shitty magic even stronger. You know what I'm saying? They might like that smell. Purifying the place of working implies that there is something nasty hanging about in your temple. A correctly used temple is a place to practice perfection. So how can anything get in there which is not perfect in the first place? To consecrate, dedicate, or bless something is another matter, and these will be discussed later on. In the meantime, forget about banishing and purifying. These things belong to a best forgotten past. Work only with perfection and correct, well thought out symbolism. All right. Y'all good? Y'all good? Let me know. Let me know of anything. You know what I'm saying? All right, let's continue. Everything lit, everything lit, everything lit like a candle. All right. Working with symbolism. Your practical work for chapter 6 involves symbolism. In addition to the ideas earlier in this chapter, I would like you to try this simple idea, which will enhance your magical work. Help develop your pentagram ritual together with the inner temple and will give you some practical symbolism to work with. All you will need for this is a bowl, a small bottle, and some water. I did say that you would not have to spend a fortune on equipment. What you are going to do is produce a physical representation of the magical pool, which you remember is the symbol of your subconscious mind. Now, before you rush out and buy these things, there is something that you should always remember, and this is, it is not the equipment that is magical, no matter what your magical supplier says. It is the way in which you work with this equipment that matters. Again, I will draw your attention to the central candle. Any candle would do. But the more thought and symbolism that you attach to this candle, the more effective it will become. For instance, you can buy any old candle from a hardware shop, stick it into a makeshift holder, light it in a haphazard manner, and mumble a few words in the hope that it just might attract some interest from some remote god. Or you can put some thought and effort into this. The difference is quite amazing. Think about your choice of candle, the color, the shape, and the size. Treat it as something special and treat it with care as you would any valuable item. The more you put in of yourself, the more you get out. Personalize it. Use your imagination and ingenuity. If you have not got a holder, then make one. A saucer will do. Keep this especially for magical work. Paint it gold to represent the sun or any other color or any color scheme which you think fits. If you are really artistic, you can work in a border of the 4 elemental colors of yellow, red, blue, and green. A plain block of wood can be just as easily adapted. Any effort, no matter how slight, performed with dedication is bound to repay you many times over. Just do your best. You only get out what you put in. It does not matter what the textbook or anyone else thinks. If you try, if you do your best, that is good enough. Extend this idea all through your magical work. Personalize everything and make it truly magical. Returning now to your magical pool, first get hold of a reasonably sized bowl. Big enough for a pint or so of water. It can be glass, metal, or even plastic. Search around. Make it a quest. Make it a quest. Make it a quest. You know what I'm saying? Search around for it like you're Merlin getting your magical tools. You have to go to far and distant lands, Target or Walmart down the street for a far and mystical journey for your equipment. You know what I'm saying? Make it a quest. Try to find one that feels and looks right. By doing this, you will be personalizing this item and you will be making it different from any ordinary bowl. Carry this a little further by decorating it in some way. You can paint or spray the outside in gold or white, as these are both central colors. Silver also looks good. This is only a suggestion. You must decide after carefully thinking along the lines suggested. It's your bowl, your symbol of your own pool. Take your time. If you wish to change it later, you can. So there is no need for total perfection at this stage. All magical equipment tends to be altered as time goes on. It is all part of the natural process of learning. So do not worry about making mistakes at this stage. This bowl is, of course, the symbol of the central pool. Ideally, it ought to be placed at the center of the temple, which with the central light above it. However, if this is not practical, then use whatever space you have in the best way you can. As long as you understand that this is the symbol of the pool and treat it accordingly, you will have no problems. Now, we have our symbolic pool. What are we going to fill it with? Water, magical water. Again, the following ideas are only a suggestion. You may elaborate or alter these to suit, but the basic idea is quite valid. If possible, obtain the water from some special place, like a holy well or natural spring. Rainwater is also a good idea, or water from a stream. If you really cannot manage this, then tap water is the obvious choice. But try. Make this another quest. See, the quest is another. See, using your imagination, they say that the only way that you can access the kingdom is with the mind of a child. You know what I'm saying? And you remember when you were a child, how you used to go on these, everything was an adventure. Everything was a magical quest. Waking up in the morning and going from your room to the bathroom, even in the middle of the night to get up to use the bathroom, was a magical and dangerous journey. You know what I'm saying? So just adapt. And it's crazy because when you were that age, you were fresh from that other world. Have a small bottle handy to collect and keep the water in. Again, personalize this. Look around for a bottle that is pleasing in shape and color. Having obtained this and filled it with water, we now need to make this water special by charging it with energy. Hey, there's an awesome book. Awesome movie. I Kill Giants, I think the name of it is, with this little girl. And yo, this movie's fucking awesome. It talks about what we're talking about right now. And even in Big Fish, I think it was, the story of the little boy's father who died, who used to tell him all these larger than life stories that the little boy never really believed. And then when his father died and he went to the father's funeral, he saw, as an adult, he saw all these people that he thought his father made up. Yeah, his father, in the way that he told the story, it's like I knew I got this homie. He his hand is shriveled up, right? Like this. He can't use it. So I asked him one day, I said, yo, bro, what happened to your hand? So then he said, a shark. So I'm like, I got upset. Like, yo, my nigga, if you ain't want to tell me what happened to your hand, fuck you. Like, just tell me you don't want to tell me. About a year later, he's telling this story about how he got into a knife fight on the yard. You know what I'm saying? With the guy named Shark. And Shark pulled out a knife. So he grabbed the knife. When he grabbed the knife, Shark pulled the knife out of his hand. Anybody that's been to prison, you know that if you get injured, you get stabbed, get your teeth knocked out, all this type of shit, you don't go to the infirmary. You know what I'm saying? You go back to the cell, your homies stitch you up, your homies get you right. Because if you go to the infirmary, it's going to be an investigation. Niggas going to get locked up. You're going to be labeled a rat. You know what I'm saying? And that's going to create problems for not only you, but whoever you running with. And not only in this, facility, but possibly in numerous other facilities. And possibly it may even spill over into the streets. I'm saying that innocent people getting hurt. So, you know, the homie didn't go to the infirmary and they sewed his hand shut. What happened was he had cut ligaments. Ligaments were cut in his hand. So as his hand healed, it healed like this. And it stayed like this for life. And when I found out, when I heard the whole story, I was like, yo, this motherfucker, he said a shark. So when I heard the story, I'm thinking of a shark. That's my damn fault. Because I thought a shark, how the fuck this nigga gonna get bit by a shark? So that's what happened in that movie. You know what I'm saying? That's what happened in that movie on Big Fish. The father was telling them all these stories about these people. You know what I'm saying? So the little kid, he's like, a giant? A guy with, you know what I'm saying? So when he's an adult and he goes to his father's funeral and he's seeing the people, he's like, oh, my father wasn't lying. He was telling the truth this whole time. Crazy. I kind of went off track there. Pardon me. You'll forgive me. See, I'd rather ask for forgiveness before I ask for permission. So forgive me. The process is quite easy. However, a little practice beforehand will help you to achieve your objective. You know what I'm saying? Talking about the water bottle and you know what I'm saying, you know, using your imagination and shit. Okay. Use the pentagram ritual to open. Have the same music ready for looking into the pool that you would use for the inner temple exercise. Have your bottle of water ready on the altar or some other convenient place. When the temple is open, the candle's lit, and if you like incense burning, then say an invocation. An example is given. You may use it to think up your own words. Here's the invocation that they give us. From my silent central power, come together in this hour. Inner strength and outer thought, a universe conceived from naught. Air and fire, water, earth, bring this power into birth. Father high and mother deep, fulfill the promise you must keep. Into water from the west, flowing freely, all that is blessed. Inner pool, part of me, my ultimate reality. I call upon your gentle might through the medium of light. Water, water, be thrice blessed, filled with power, never rest. Until my work is plain to see, and all I am is truly me. Feel me? Man, that sound like some little Uzi shit. My work is done. Okay, so closing down. My work is done. May the energies contained in this water continue to work on all levels of life according to my true will and desires. As power came forth from peace, so shall peace remain while the energies within flow freely into mundane existence. Ooh. Note, uh, the closing joint should be, matter of fact, both of them should be said in a slow and deliberate manner. The words need not be spoken out loud. It is the thinking which matters. Try to get the feel of the words and use your imagination. Say them over and 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 over until they're memorized. You know what I'm saying? Repetition, 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 repetition. You feel me? That's how you program that powerhouse. When ready, relax, and in your imagination, see the bottle glowing with shining white light. Again, do not worry if this is working or why this may or may not work. Just allow this to happen. Relax and be confident. Pretend, make believe. It will work. And the more you let go and allow this to happen, the better will be the result. At the end, stand up and declare that the magical work is complete and successful. Again, you may use the words from the invocation if you so desire. Now close the temple and put the bottle away in a safe place for later use. The next stage of the operation is quite simple. Before any ritual, fill your bowl with ordinary water and add a few drops from your bottle of magical water. You may, if you like, turn this into a little ritual in itself. I will leave you to decide if you wish to do this and how you do it. At the end of the rite, you may dispose of the water in your magical bowl or keep it in a safe place. If you have a permanent temple, you could keep this in the center. From time to time, you will need to change this, as even magical water can become a little stale. When you do dispose of it, do not just pour it down the sink or slosh it unceremoniously down the toilet. You have put a lot of thought and effort into this water. It contains part of you. So give it back to nature and the elements. Pour it onto the earth or into a stream or pool. Again, a little thought goes a long way. Now we have a physical representation of the inner source of power. So let us start to make use of this. From now on, you do not just use your imagination, you also actually see a symbolic pool in your own temple. No matter how humble this may be, now you can combine imaginative inner working with outer physical action. Here are some useful suggestions. We all have problems, doubts, worries, and in reality, we do not want these. Solve the problems by magical means. Magical power can do so or solve anything, and each one of you has this power. Never forget this use. Use your power. Do not put up with unsatisfactory conditions. Problems are there as a challenge, almost as if life is saying to you, now look at this. Is this really what you want? Problems don't exist. Problems are just an opportunity to be creative. Very often the solution to each problem is contained in the problem itself. You are the solution because you are the problem. You're thinking. Rather than struggle on or accept these impositions, use your abilities to try to step out onto the path of success. Doubts, fears, muddles, and so on can be solved quite easily by using these techniques. Before you start the ritual, do all your thinking and planning first. Spend some time being positive, telling yourself that you are going to succeed. You do not have to concern yourself with how, when, or why. Simply allow your inner power to sort the whole thing out in its own way. Trust it. Know it. Remember, you have nothing to lose by trying. You have nothing to lose by doing. You have everything to lose by not even trying. Use the pentagram ritual and the inner temple. Have some music ready for use with the pool. Place your fingertips in the water and imagine the pool is washing these problems away. Let go and allow these ideas to flow freely. Sit down and play the music while seeing this happen in your imagination. If you have nervous problems, take some of the water and spread it gently on your forehead. If it is some other affliction, then bathe the affected part, never forgetting the inner work. Use your imagination to see a golden light shining over the afflicted part. A little ingenuity will suggest all sorts of ideas, simple ideas which you can use. Let these ideas develop no matter how simple and childlike they may appear to be. It is this childlike simplicity that gets results during rituals. Think before you start. During the ritual, enact, pretend, and make believe. This is potent, magical fact. Suppose you are having money problems, and these days, who doesn't? Don't fret and worry about this or try to solve it by conscious effort. Use magic. During the ritual, take all your paper money into your temple, dip your fingers into the pool of water, and one by one touch each bill, leaving a small amount of water on each one. Use your imagination to see lots of money falling like snow all around you. To brighten up your home and create a more healthy atmosphere, why not charge up the pool with energy during the ritual? Then go out and use some to water the plants. Leave small amounts in each room so that it can evaporate and fill the air. Use the elements. They do not just exist in a temple or in your mind. They exist everywhere. And they are only too willing to assist those who choose to help themselves. Put some in your bath water, then have a good soak while thinking positively of all the things you wish to have. If you manage to get uncontaminated natural water, drink it and absorb the energy that it contains. The magical waters of Britain have cured more ailments and helped more people to solve their problems than anyone will ever be able to count. You are now dealing with magical water. The more you work on or with it, the better the results. Do not throw away the chance to do something that is natural, symbolically correct, and magical. You will, I promise, be surprised and well rewarded for your efforts. Ashe. Facts. So, I'm saying, that was working with symbols. I'm saying symbols and how you can use them. I'm saying practically in our magic. I'm saying, and I've done all of these things, and they work. That's the whole reason why we're doing this right now, because the results work so well for me that I'm saying, I guess that's how I pay it forward. I'm saying, I want everybody to have these same results that I got. I'm saying, I guess that's part of my work. Yeah, man. I appreciate y'all for tuning in. Don't forget to go ahead and head on over to Abode of Sun Moon. The link is in the description below. I'm saying we got a bunch of PDFs over there. The PDF for America that I said I was going to upload yesterday experienced some sort of difficulty. That shit disappeared. I don't know how. I had it on Google Drive. That shit, I can't find it now. I also had it saved in the Facebook archives, but it's not there. I'm saying, I really, I'm saying, I'm just letting y'all know, like, I'm saying, I'm on open book. I'm saying, the joint is, it's not there anymore. But I will be uploading a lot more out of print occult material and books, especially as we go on. Don't forget to check out that Brother Bridge body bag. I mean, definitely you will not regret the results. Allows your melanin to work on you, especially while you sleep. I take it at night. Some people take it during the day, but I noticed that it does something different for everyone that takes it. For me, it acts as a muscle relaxer after my workouts. I don't feel any muscle soreness the days that follow from my workouts. I had a chronic pain from an old injury that was with me for about a decade. Brother Bridge body bag. And I'm saying I started taking my kratom blend, and that pain went away. And I'm saying it totally gets rid of anxiety, my anxieties. And I'm saying able to meditate and do the relaxation ritual more simply because of it. And the beauty about it is that it doesn't wear off like within a few hours, because I might go a day or two without taking it and I still don't have the chronic pain. I don't have the anxiety. I'm still able to get a amazing sleep at night. It's really an amazing sleep aid. It's an awesome tantric aid, because like I'm saying, those of us that are into tantra and want to learn want to heighten our sexual magic, manifestation, and the whole ejaculation and the male orgasmic experience. And I'm saying we know that ejaculating is actually a setback if that is something that you're trying to experience. And my kratom blend actually aids and assists in your tantra. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how, I don't know why, but like, man, that should have you going like for like, you will not ejaculate unless you want to, unless you physically, like, it gives you more control of over your ejaculation. It doesn't give you an erection, you know what I'm saying, but it does control, and it might give you an erection because, like I said, I gained muscle, you know what I'm saying, because I was able to work out. It actually sped up my recovery time throughout my workouts. And my goddess Brianna was actually able to, she lost 20 pounds. You know what I'm saying? She lost 20 pounds. Other people, it's like shit is crazy. It does for each person what it's supposed to do. That's magical in itself. You know what I'm saying? So go ahead and head on over there. Check out the Abode of Sun Moon website. There's a lot more coming. Brother Bridge, peace.